Level 1. Direct power. Direct power is the most straightforward form. You personally cause things to happen. Your hands construct it. Your voice directs it. Your body executes it. Physical capability allows you to carry what others cannot. Cash in your possession purchases what you require immediately. Expertise you've developed enables you to repair, build, or resolve without depending on anyone else. Personal magnetism causes strangers to pay attention when you talk. The power exists in your muscles, your finances, your mind, your aura. When you enter a space, dynamics shift because you've arrived. You can deliver a blow, exchange currency, program the software, or captivate the audience. No authorization necessary, no framework required, just you and your capacity to execute. Initially, this feels like absolute authority. You don't require anyone's permission. If you want something accomplished, you handle it yourself. A powerful individual relocates the furniture alone. A talented carpenter constructs the table independently. Someone with money covers the meal for everyone. A magnetic speaker captures attention the instant they begin speaking. No intermediary, no red tape, just pure ability converted into instant outcomes. It's the power every child grasps first. The strongest kid controls the ball. The one with cash purchases the treats. But direct power contains a critical flaw. It only functions when you're physically there. Leave the premises and the power disappears. Your strength can't defend your residence while you're unconscious. Your money can't purchase anything after it's gone. Your expertise sits dormant when you're ill. Your magnetism ends the moment you exit the discussion. This power is confined within your physical form and your present moment. You can't exist in multiple locations simultaneously. You can't operate 24 hours without collapsing. Every action depletes you. Every movement costs energy you won't recover. Direct power scales horribly. A single individual can only accomplish so much. You can persuade 10 people in a space, maybe 100 if sufficiently magnetic, but you can't persuade 1,000 without your voice failing. You can generate income with your hands, but never enough to influence an economy. You can combat one adversary, maybe 3, but never an army. Your body exhausts itself. Your mind becomes clouded. Your energy drains. The instant you cease acting, power ceases existing. This is why direct power feels potent but remains limited. It can't survive your departure. It can't expand beyond your immediate presence. It lives and dies with you. The moment someone recognizes that, they simply wait you out, deplete you, outlast you. Because unlike you, frameworks don't rest, positions don't fatigue. Authority doesn't need physical presence to continue functioning. What if there was a method to lease power instead? To assume authority and demand compliance without personally earning it? Level 2. Positional power. Positional power doesn't originate from you. It originates from the position you fill. A supervisor issues directives and staff members comply. Not because the supervisor is more capable or intelligent, but because the designation dictates they should. A magistrate speaks and the courtroom attends. A law enforcement officer extends a hand and vehicles halt. An educator assigns coursework and pupils obey. The power belongs to the station, not the individual occupying it. Remove the insignia, the gavel, the executive suite, and the compliance vanishes along with it. This is leased authority. You enter a position that already possesses influence, and immediately people regard you differently. Strangers show deference, subordinates follow instructions, frameworks accommodate you, but none of it truly belongs to you. You're borrowing power from an establishment that constructed it long before your arrival. The uniform renders you authoritative. The professional designation unlocks opportunities. The qualifications command recognition. Strip them away and you're returned to level 1, depending solely on what you individually contribute. Positional power feels more substantial than direct power because it expands your influence. A supervisor doesn't need to individually execute every responsibility. They assign tasks. A magistrate doesn't personally uphold the law. Others enforce it on their behalf. An educator doesn't require magnetism to delegate work. The position itself possesses sufficient authority. You can affect hundreds, even thousands, without exhausting yourself. The establishment amplifies you, but positional power is delicate. It only persists as long as you maintain the position. Get terminated, resign, or relinquish the role, and the power evaporates immediately. Individuals who previously listened cease responding to contact. Choices you previously controlled are no longer yours to determine. The deference was never regarding you. It was regarding the seat you occupied, and now another person occupies it. Worse, positional power can be revoked by someone with superior positional power. Your superior terminates you. A superior court reverses the magistrate. Internal oversight suspends the officer. The framework that granted you power can reclaim it whenever it chooses. This is the snare of positional power. It feels secure, formal, authorized, but it relies entirely on the establishment that provided it. You're powerful only as long as the framework permits. What if individuals followed you because they chose to, not because they were obligated to? What if devotion persisted beyond the designation? Level 3. Relational Power. Relational power operates differently. Individuals listen to you because they believe in you, appreciate you, or rely on you. No designation necessary, no uniform required. They follow you willingly. This is the power of social connections, partnerships, standing, and sway. A companion requests guidance and values it genuinely. A guide speaks and apprentices pay attention. A neighborhood figure proposes action and residents participate. The power emerges from connection, not compulsion. This form of power survives employment termination. You can forfeit your station, but connections remain preserved. A terminated supervisor loses command over staff, but a valued colleague maintains sway within the group. A retired magistrate loses the gavel, but decades of established standing still unlock opportunities. Relational power travels with you because it exists in how individuals perceive you, not what position you occupy. It's individual, accumulated over time through consistency, dependability, and consideration. Constructing relational power demands patience. You can't compel belief. You can't purchase devotion. You must appear consistently, fulfill commitments, and demonstrate yourself worthy of confidence. Every interaction represents a deposit or withdrawal. Assist someone, and they recall. Deceive someone, and they never overlook. Over months and years, these transactions construct a network of individuals who appreciate your perspective, protect your reputation, and broadcast your message. When you speak, they pay attention because they've discovered your word holds significance. Relational power also scales more effectively than direct power. One trusted individual influences 10 others. Those 10 influence 100. Your standing circulates through narratives individuals share about you. Your concepts travel through discussions you're absent from. Someone you assisted 5 years ago endorses you to someone you've never encountered. The network expands naturally, multiplying your reach without draining your vitality. But relational power still contains boundaries. It demands upkeep. Connections diminish without cultivation. Confidence shatters if you cease appearing. Sway deteriorates when you lose contact. You must continue allocating time, consideration, and vitality into the network. Overlook too many contacts, disregard too many communications, violate too many commitments, and the power dissolves. Relational power is more substantial than positional power because it's voluntary. But it still requires you remaining active, available, and invested. What if there was a method to construct power that operated even when you weren't present? A framework that sustained your advantage automatically, reshaping society in your benefit, whether you made any effort or not. Level 4. Structural Power. Structural power means you don't apply power. The framework applies it for your benefit. Regulations advantage you. Establishments defend your concerns. Financial frameworks channel resources toward you. Algorithms elevate your material. Society accommodates your direction even when you're unconscious, even when you're deceased. This is power integrated into the blueprint of how things operate. Consider zoning regulations that maintain affordable residences away from prosperous communities. Nobody must actively restrict anyone. The regulations accomplish it mechanically. Real estate costs increase. Levies remain minimal, and certain individuals simply can't afford residence there. The framework preserves disparity without anyone making effort. Or consider revenue codes composed to privilege investment returns over earnings. Investors contribute lower percentages than laborers. The regulation itself redistributes prosperity upward, quietly, lawfully, year after year. Structural power is concealed until you search for it. Algorithms determine who observes your content, who receives employment opportunities, who qualifies for financing. If you construct the algorithm, you dictate the result without making individual choices. Financial institutions constructed credit frameworks that compensate individuals who already possess money and penalize those who lack it. Interstate systems were constructed through impoverished communities, not prosperous ones. Educational financing connected to real estate levies guarantees prosperous regions receive superior education. None of this demands active malice. The framework accomplishes the labor. This is where power becomes environmental. You don't need presence. You don't need to persuade anyone. You don't need connections or designations. The framework perpetuates your advantage mechanically because the regulations were composed with you considered. Someone conceived into prosperity inherits structural power. Their money expands through investments constructed to privilege capital. Their offspring attend institutions constructed to preserve class divisions. Their heirs receive additional opportunities because establishments defend individuals like them. But structural power contains a vulnerability. It demands resources to construct. You require money to advocate for beneficial regulations. You require sway to mold establishments. You require authority over capital to architect financial frameworks. Constructing the framework requires years, sometimes generations. And once constructed, frameworks can be dismantled. Regulations transform, establishments crumble. Revolutions recompose the regulations. Structural power is enduring, but not eternal. What if there was a tier beyond the framework? What if you could dictate what individuals believe the framework should become? Level 5. Ideological Power. Ideological power is the supreme form. You dictate what individuals believe is accurate, ethical, or standard. Religion instructs billions how to exist. Nationalism persuades citizens to perish for boundaries drawn on charts. Identity narratives mold who individuals think they represent. Cultural legends establish success, attractiveness, and value. Media framing determines which difficulties matter and which receive dismissal. At this tier, your inclinations become other individuals' ethical obligation. They uphold your perspective for you. This power functions through conviction itself. When someone embraces an ideology, they regulate themselves and everyone surrounding them. A religious individual doesn't require a clergy observing to follow teachings. They believe divinity is observing. A nationalist doesn't require a commander compelling them to serve. They believe serving is dignified. Laborers accept minimal compensation because they believe diligent effort produces success, even when it demonstrably doesn't. The ideology persuades them their adversity is temporary, their suffering honorable. Ideological power renders all other power concealed. If you dictate the narrative, you determine what qualifies as equitable. Structural disparity becomes achievement-based selection. Manipulation becomes prospect. Submission becomes honor. Individuals defending the framework believe they're defending truth, fairness, or natural sequence. They can't perceive the manipulation because the ideology instructed them the manipulation doesn't exist. Challenge the framework, and they don't perceive freedom. They perceive blasphemy, disloyalty, or madness. This tier of power multiplies infinitely. One believer converts 10 others. Those 10 convert 100. The ideology circulates through households, institutions, broadcasting, and civilization until it becomes accepted wisdom. Questioning it feels hazardous, irrational, immoral. Even individuals damaged by the ideology protect it because their entire identity is constructed around believing it. An impoverished individual protects billionaires. A laborer opposes collective bargaining. A citizen celebrates for conflicts that don't benefit them. The ideology persuades them their concerns align with power when they don't. Ideological power is the supreme form because it causes individuals to desire what you desire. They don't feel manipulated. They feel virtuous. They impose your regulations on themselves and discipline anyone who opposes. You don't need presence. You don't need a designation. You don't need connections or frameworks. The conviction accomplishes everything. And once an ideology establishes itself sufficiently deep, it persists even when the original source vanishes. The concept becomes eternal, duplicating itself through generations, molding reality long after its architects are dust.